Hey guys, this is Chris Fate coming back at you. Now today I'm going to be discussing, I'm still with Grand Theft Auto 5. I know it's getting kind of in its ancient stages now, but not to me. I can play these games over and over and over and over again. I just love them. But you know, I'm still fiddling around with the coding and stuff in Grand Theft Auto 5. And today I want to show you how to put these internal cheats, but used to just turn on in Cheat Engine, where all you got to do is just click it on and they come on. Now if you go to GameWinners.com, you can go to all different type of sites. I don't know, there are different type of sites that you can get these internal cheats, but this is for the PC version. When you mash the tilde key, which is that little curvy key, you know, you get this. Let me go back in the game and show you. You go in there and you put in like the catch me, and it activates the fast run cheat. You see that in the lower left? And then you know, you can run like the Flash almost. I'm mashing the wrong button. You see that? And then you go back in there and you turn it back off again with the tilde key by mashing the same thing. So let me do that. So catch me. And it deactivated the fast run. So when we run now, he's just running normal. And Franklin can run pretty fast anyway, so you know. But today I'm going to show you how to use these cheats right here. You can use any of these. They work for everything. And what you find in game coding like this is when you activate cheats and deactivate cheats like this, most of the time these are actually flags you're turning on within the internal game itself. And let me describe what a flag is. A flag is a variable that has to meet a certain criteria in order to turn on, and then something else takes its place. For example, like these cheats. For example, when you input the cheat, like these words here, when the computer says, okay, they've input the passcode, these are like passcodes to activate that flag, it turns the flag on. So basically, usually flags are turned on and off like a light switch. When the flag's turned on, the cheat's activated. When the flag turns off, the cheat no longer activates. And flags are not just used for cheats. Flags are used for just about everything in the game. And it's like, you know, you see doors are locked, like in an RPG. Well, you know, the doors are locked. Well, you got to do a certain mission before these doors unlock, or anything like that. Like you got to bring the king his crown before he'll allow you into the back chamber weapon room, or something like that. You know, just made up off the top of my head. You know, and what unlocked the flag to unlock the door was you bringing the king his crown from that quest, or whatever, so to speak. Getting back to the cheats, those are what flags are, and usually they're controlled by a 0 or 1, 1 or 0. 0 is like the flag being off, and then when it meets the certain criteria, it changes that value to 1, which means the flag turns on, and the doors are unlocked, or the cheat's activated, or whatever. But it doesn't necessarily have to be 1 or 0, 0 or 1. It can be 1 and 5, or it could be any range of numbers. So to look for flags, you really have to do an unknown value search to start off with, and just do changed and unchanged values, turning the flag on and off, on and off, on and off, until you find the correct actual address of it. And that's what we're working with today. We're not going to be working with scripting today. We're going to go directly into changing the code to where we turn the flag on internally without having to put that passcode in. That's what these are, passcodes, to turn the flag on. We're going to just input it into Cheat Engine as a cheat, where all we got to do, here's the run, or the catch me activated. All we have to do is just click on it, and it is array of byte scan, and it has to do that array of byte scan, and it'll turn that cheat on. And there you see it cut on. Sometimes it takes a few seconds, and I'll show you why it's taking a little bit longer for these, because it's a long array of byte scan. So the longer the array of bytes are, the longer the scan is going to take. But you see here, you remember we turned the cheat off But look, we turned the flag on without putting in the passcode. We want to turn it back off. We'll just go down here and turn it back off. And see, he's running normal again. And we didn't have to input a passcode. We didn't have to go to our phone and input some long ass number or anything like that, or do these control button configurations. And that's what we're going to be doing, so stick with me. Thank you for holding, guys. Sorry about that. Also, while I'm thinking about it, you see these right here, all these passcodes, but they, they don't seem to know some of the passcodes for some of these others here, like super high jump, explosive bullets, fire bullets, things like that. I can show you in these array of bytes that we're going to do how you can possibly actually find those. I'm not actually going to find those in this particular tutorial, but I'll show you how you can find them, and it's a lot easier than you think. Okay, but for right now, I'm just going to show you how to go ahead and get an array of bytes scan to automatically turn these on and off every time you mash the little X, that little tick box on. And I'm going to show you how to find the explosive hands, which every time you hit somebody, it's like an explosion occurs. Now, I've already found that, but I just want to re-show you. And I'm going to delete this because I'm going to find it again. And we're going to do that together right now, okay? So let's go ahead and click New Scan. Now, to save you time, I've already done the hard work for you, okay? I've already found what variables control the flags. It'll be 1 being off, 5 being on. And how I found that, which I know you probably want to know, is I just did this. Unknown value search and all. I didn't know what scan type it would be. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I didn't know what value type it would be. I didn't know if it'd be a 4 byte, a float, double, or whatever. I didn't know that. So I had no choice but to use all and unknown value search. And what I did is I went and turned the code on, changed value, then hit unchanged a few times. Then I went back and typed the code again to deactivate it. Then I put change code again. And I just did that over and over and over again until I just weeded it down and found what the variables were, which was 1 and 5. So now it'll be a lot easier for us to find, knowing that it was on a 4 byte. So your value type scan will be 4 byte for these cheats here. Okay, so we're going to go to 4 byte. Let's make sure that the flags is off. I believe it is. But I just want to be sure, so I got to go hit somebody. Also, I'm going to make sure that my invincibility is on, my infinite health cheat, and my never wanted cheat, because when I go hit people, it's going to trigger the cops to come look for me. I don't like hitting women, so let's find a guy, a dude. Let's click this guy here. Alright. So, we see that the code is off. So we want to go ahead and do a first scan. And we're going to put that on 1. Okay. 1 is the flag being off for this particular game. Normally I don't recommend to start with 1. Normally I recommend just turning the flag on. And then just use a higher value, because sometimes 1 could take forever, but for, since I already know it's going to be a quick search, I'm just going to go ahead and do it anyway. Alright. So, what we're going to need to do is go in there and let's put in the passcode Hot Hands, which turns, you see, cheat activated explosive melee attack. So we know that it's on. And if you want to go test it, you can go test it by hitting somebody. But I know it's on because it tells me it's on, and we're going to go ahead and put 5 in here. We know that the flag's turned on, so we're just going to go back in there. We're going to turn it back off again. Hot Hands. And now the cheat is deactivated. We know the flag has now turned back off, so the value for the off is 1. So next scan it, and we only got a few left. So let's do it again and You can see some are changing, some are not. So let's hot hands. And it's back on again, so we know it's back to 5. Hang on 1 second here. I missed what that was. Let me go ahead and take that back down. And we should only have to do it one more time. You see all these others changing. And the very bottom one, you see, turned it back off again when it deactivated. So we know that bottom one right here is our flag value. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I had a little technical difficulties. Damn cat ran by and unplugged the power strip right in the middle of my recording. She only does that when I am recording. She decides to piss off the dog. The dog will chase her, and then she'll go running by, and it unplugs the strip when she does. But anyway. So I had to reload the game back up and refine the address again. So we're back to where we left off. I apologize about that. Alright, so where we're at now is we just found our address by using the same method. And let's go ahead and turn the flag back off again by putting on 1. And we're not going to actually look to see where this address is writing, because we're not really going to be manipulating any script or injecting any type of code. We're actually going to change the coding itself, and that's by using the array of bytes. So let's go ahead and right click on it, and we're going to go directly to browse this memory region via that address. Okay, and it will automatically, just don't pay attention to anything up here. We're not using anything up here. We're only modifying what's at the address. Now, a couple things I need to say right quick, and I appreciate your indulgence, is I want to tip my hat off to Sneaky Mofo. He is one of my great friends. He's also a mentor of mine, an excellent game hacker, and this is based off his tutorial, his advanced AOB scan tutorial that he did with Terraria. So I'm actually taking that lesson and I'm actually applying it to a different game. This Grand Theft Auto right here. Okay, so my hat's off to you. Thank you, brother. I appreciate all your help. Alright, getting back to the game. Now, what you see here is we're looking down here. This is where we're going to be working with today. These are the addresses that the computer assigns to these byte scans and the values and everything like that. And I'll show you. Let me move that out of the way so Cheat Engine doesn't block it up. And you can see here, this is the value for that address, the same address right here. And when the flag is off, hot hands, it's at 01. But when we turn it back on, now watch, Cheat Engine will show you. We change it to 5, which turns it on. You see that change to 5. So we know that is what is controlling the value right here. So that's what we're going to be manipulating. And getting into array of bytes, we're using an array of byte scan because this is basically a signature. This is actually what the computer is reading and doing all the modifications and running the game with. It's reading byte code. And so that's what we're going to be modifying. So really what we want to do is we want to have a unique array of byte that it can always just scan for and go directly to it, because this address, every single time we close the game out, we open the game out, open the game back up, you know, every time we have to look up a new address. That's why this address is always changing. Sometimes we try to find pointers. Pointers are very unstable and hard to find a stable pointer. So these addresses are going to change, but all these bytes, they're not going to change. Well, some of them will, but we'll show you how to override that in a minute. But most of these bytes are going to be the same, and it will be able to find this location without knowing or putting in an address. We just put in all these bytes here that it can read, and that's one unique string of bytes that it can read and go to, so it can modify our value for us. And that's what we're doing today. We're modifying a value without actually finding a new code again, and we're teaching Cheat Engine how to do that. So we know here this is the code we want. Now, one thing right quick, and indulge me on this. I promised you earlier I'd show you something, and I'm going to keep that promise. Okay, you see all these passcodes here that turn all these different flags on and off for all these different cheat codes. You have the maximum health and armor, you have invincibility, you have all these things that turn on these particular flags. These are the passcodes that turns on the 5, and the 1 turns it off. But you see here that some of these are unknown. They just haven't got those passcodes yet to update their site, and you can go searching around different cheat sites. Some may have some of these, but not all of them. But I can show you how to find those without knowing what the passcode is. And it's all right here. They're all together. If you look, let's make sure we keep that highlighted. We know that's the code that we're manipulating right now, but if you look, let's take a look here. You see the similarities in everything. We have a D that's representing the beginning of our script code, which these ODs will always change. They will change every single time, just like these addresses will change. Okay, we know that we're at the one ending in F8 right now, so we can always just go back to it by looking for the F8 right here. We know that's our hot hands. That's the 1 or 5. But look over here. We got a new string of code right here. That's another cheat. That's another one of these passcodes. You see that right here? So if we go change this flag right here, which is off to 5, it's going to turn a different cheat on. We just don't know what it is. Every single one of these from OD to O1. You see all these? And even over here, all these to O1. And then on. These are your different cheats right here. These are all these cheats. Every single one of them. Even the ones they don't know the passcodes to. Do you see how learning a little bit about coding, you can actually go beyond these sites that give you cheat codes and everything? You can actually do more than they can. If you go change each one of some of these to 5 and see what they're affecting in the game, well, you found what you've unlocked, that cheat code. You can find that super high jump. You can find those others that they don't have the passcode for. They're all right here. Every single one of them. Just start with that OD. It'll be something else for you, and I'm going to show you how we know that in a minute. And it goes to O1, then OO, and then it starts back over again. That's a new cheat all the way to here. That's a new cheat all the way to here. That's a different cheat all the way. You see what I'm saying? And all these O1s are the flags that turn it on and off. Every single one of these are cheat codes. Internal cheat codes. Every one of them. So go in there and experiment. When you find one, you can find them all. You just have to go in there and play around. I'm not going to do that because that could take a lot of time. And this is already going to run us some time because this is a difficult lesson. This is an advanced lesson. Right now, we're going to just change that one particular flag that we know is hot hands. Okay? So we're going to teach Cheat Engine to scan for a specific array of bytes to always go to this location no matter what that new address is going to be. Okay? So let's go to auto assemble. We're going to bring up our template also, cheat table framework code. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put AOB injection, but there's really nothing in it I'm going to use. We're going to basically be doing this from scratch. Change inject to hot hands. Let's put that in lowercase. I had the caps lock on. Sorry about that. Hot hands. And we're just going to be working with one specific cheat, hot hands. Eventually, I'm going to script them all out. But I got to find out what each one of them represented. But that just takes time. That just depends on how much time you got to put in it. We're going to take all this crap out. We don't need any of that. We don't need the module. We're not allocating any new memory. We're not injecting any code. We're just actually changing the code itself. So we don't need it to allocate any memory for us. We're just messing with the bytes. We don't need new memory. We just need this AOB scan. We just need that. And that's the command that tells Cheat Engine to do an AOB scan. Okay, and this is what we're calling that first digit of the scan that we assign it to. And I'll show you. We're going to get rid of all this. We don't need any of this right here. Okay, we don't need any of that. And you can get rid of all this mess. You don't need any. This is for scripting. We're not scripting anything. We're just manipulating bytes. That's all we're doing. Okay? So right now, this is all we have. So let's go give it a string of bytes. And it's going to have to be a long one, unfortunately. Because as you see, there's so many of these, and they're all the exact same. That's all our cheats. And we're kind of in the middle of the pack here, so we need to go all the way down to where we see some new bytes kicking in. You see that down here? So that way we can distinguish it from others, so it can go directly to that particular byte to change for us. So you see these different bytes down here, the 54, 9C, 7743. These will always remain the same. These aren't going to change, because you can load the game back up and redo the scan for something else and go back and see that that will always still be there. I've already done that. So I know that that will always be there. The OD, these will always change. It'll be like next time it may be E8. Next time it may be something else. It'll always change, but I'll show you how to override that here in just a second. Now, actually, we're going to do it right now. So what we're going to do is we highlight every single one of these all the way down to here, just by left-clicking on it. And we're just going to do it all the way down to this 43. Okay? These are new bytes, and it will be able to find our location easily that way. We just right-click it after we've highlighted everything. Everything will turn red. Okay? Make sure that way it knows it's highlighted. Sorry. And we're going to go copy to clipboard, or you can Control-C, which is the same command to copy. And you do want to use a notepad, and it's real easy to do this. And the reason we're putting the notepad, because we have to change the OD. Normally what you would do is, we know that that's the array of bytes. We would put that in notepad just like this and leave it. We would close the entire game out. This whole game we'd close out, and we'd bring it back up. That way, if anything changed here, we would be able to see it. We would copy the new string down, and then we just paste it down here like that, and we'd see, compare it to the first one, and see what changed. Anything that changes, we're going to have to go replace with 2 question marks or 2 asterisks. That means unknown variable or changing variable. That means that it's telling Cheat Engine, the 2 question marks or the 2 asterisks, that those bytes are going to change just about every single time, that they can't be relied on as steady bytes. Okay, so it kind of overlooks that, but still considers it part of the equation. So what we want to do is we want to go change all these ODs, because if you went in there and did all that, you'd see that all these ODs would change to something else. It would be something different. So we need to change that to question marks, and it's real easy to do that in Notepad. You just go to Add It, and we're just going to go down here, excuse me, Add It. We're Edit, and then click Replace. Alright, and you'll get this screen here. And we need to change it to, we need to find all the ODs in that string and just replace it with either 2 question marks or 2 asterisks. I use question marks. You can use either one. It doesn't matter. And it will replace all those for you. Like this. You see? Every one of them changed. And that's what you come out with. You see everything else remain the same even when you load up your game again. But to do this, you always need to do it at least twice to find out any changing bytes. Or you could run into a lot of problems if you don't go do this. But I'm just trying to save a little time right now. It's already going to be a little longer video, and my videos are usually long, and I know people are getting tired of that. Alright, so just go back in, and where we left off, AOB scan is the command, hot hands is what we're calling it, and we're just going to put in that big ass long string. Okay, just copy and paste it in there. Make sure to close off the parentheses all the way to the end. Make sure the parentheses, close it off. That's fine. Okay, everything looks good. And if we do make any mistakes, Cheat Engine will tell us. Okay, now we need to register these things. We're going to make a label. So we're going to register symbol, which is also a command. We need to tell Cheat Engine we're going to be using some labels down here, and we need to go ahead and register these words. You do that with the parentheses, and I'm just going to call it fist. And we just need to also make a label calling it fist. Oops, sorry. I'm having a little trouble with my 9 key. There we go. And make a label called fist. And what we're going to do, we're letting it know that it needs to look at these array of bytes, which we've already called hot hands. And that hot hands is going to be that very first one, which is 01. If we were going to change a different one, then we would have to actually tell it. Like if we were going to change this flag for something else, let's just pretend that this was the flag, that was the hot hands. Then we would have to tell Cheat Engine that it's actually hot hands plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This has to be in hex code. So we would say plus 8. Like that. But it's not, because it's right at the beginning, because that's where we started our array of byte scan. So we don't have to put anything like that. And you can go to Sneaky Mofo's Terraria tutorial and he'll teach you all about that. I'm just not getting into it right now. But always know that whatever you label this as in the AOB scan, it's always referring to that very first byte that it scanned. Okay? Anything after that, if you're changing any other byte in that string, you'll have to put plus whatever, you know, and that'll be in hex. 0 to 9, then A to F, and then 10 to 19 again. I'm not getting into that. That's real easy. You can go look up how to read bytes. And we're going to use our label down here. Okay. So we don't need to allocate it to a new byte. It's just the very first one, because that's our variable that we're trying to change. We're going to define the byte and change it to 05. That turns that byte on right here. Okay? And that's really all you need to do. Let's get that back up here. And then when we turn it off, we just need to teach Cheat Engine how to turn it back off again. We don't need it to turn off everything. We can just, since we went ahead and made a label, we can just say fist. We don't have to put that long string in again. We just want it, that one particular byte, to turn back off to 1. And that turns it back off again. That's pretty much it. That's all you have to do. We didn't have to do any scripting. We're just changing that one variable. So we're telling Cheat Engine, since we didn't put a plus and a number here, we're telling it it's the very first number we want changed. If it was any other, we'd have to put plus whatever, how far away it was from that. So we're just telling it that it's this array of bytes scan, this particular byte, we want it changed to 5. To turn it back off, we just want that very one that you just changed, we want it turned back to 1. That's it. That's all we're doing. Okay? We can go ahead and assign that to the current cheat table. If we made any mistakes, Cheat Engine will let us know. We did it. We should be good to go. And all we got to do is just exit that out and just go test it, make sure it works. Right now, we still have our original code up here, which is still at 1. That means it's off. And we can test it now by this code. Now, also know any array of byte scan, it'll take longer because it's searching for those array of bytes. It's not searching for that address. It's searching for those bytes we put into the system. So the longer the byte scan, the longer the scan is going to take. So it could take somewhere between 5 and 15 seconds, just depending. Okay? But let's go ahead and turn it on, and we'll just see how long it takes. That means it's doing its scan, and boom, turned on. And you see our code turned on. You see that change right here? It also changed it where we told it to, which here's our address right here. It changed it to 5. That turned the flags on. Like I say, we could go play around with all these others too and do the exact same thing. Just make sure that you put in a string that isn't matching everything else, and you're good to go. I know it's a little confusing. It's kind of hard to explain and try to keep it within a reasonable time limit. So if you do have questions, please let me know. I'm happy to help you any way I can. And also go to Sneaky Mofo's channel. He gives a real in-depth tutorial on his Terraria. So let's go hit somebody, and we just turned our code on.
Let's meet up next week.
I don't like hitting women. Let's find a dude. Ain't no dudes out right. Oh, there's a couple of dudes. Let me hit this guy. Knocked them both out. See that? And we can go back and turn it off again. Let's go find us another guy to hit. Well, everybody's running from me. Usually I find people all over the place. Now I can't find anybody. Is there a guy sitting down here? Remember, we just turned the code off. I don't want to hit that woman, but let's hit this guy here. Ah, come on.
You happy?
And you see it's really turned off.
Man.
Yeah, it's turned off. Good. Okay. So now we found how to turn on internal codes without having to put in the actual passcode to do that. And we can just call that whatever we want to. Explosive fists. So anytime we load up our game, we don't have to go find the address anymore. All we have to do is just go turn the code on. Yeah, we have it on. When we need to turn it off, just turn it back off again. Now, I have not tried them on in missions. I don't know how that works yet, but I believe it'll leave it on. But I have not tested that out yet, so I just kind of went straight on in here to show you how to do this. And I wanted to show you a different alternative method to have a stable code. Array of byte scans are awesome. They do take a lot more work, but they're more stable, they're more accurate, and they are a lot better than just about any other method of hacking into a game and getting stable codes. Array of byte scans is definitely the way to go. And we're going to be discussing array of bytes a lot more in depth in later tutorials coming down the line. But I wanted to show you this. This is a more advanced lesson. If you did see yourself getting lost, make sure that you go cover the basics of cheat engine and game hacking, variable finding, value finding, things like that. And then, you know, you can come back and learn these more advanced methods and understand a little more what's going on. Okay. I do recommend that you go to Sneaky Mofo's channel and watch that tutorial about Terraria. That's a tongue twister. And he really goes in depth a lot more explaining what array of bytes is, how the computer is actually reading array of bytes. The computer's not reading this shit over here at all. It's actually reading these array of bytes. That's what all these are. It's reading these bytes. Anything changes, the computer's changing it. Your game's changing. So that's what you're really manipulating, even when you write this crap out over here. And the reason that we do it this way is a lot more efficient. And also, if we'd have went in there and found out what was writing to that address, you would get an opcode, like something like that. But when we go to find out what is actually controlling that code, like find out all the addresses that access that particular opcode, it's in the hundreds of thousands in this game. So there's just real no way to manipulate the code without affecting everything else and crashing your game. It's hard to find a comparison offset to separate that, and this is really a better route to go. It'll always go to that exact array of bytes. It'll change it, turn it on when you specify that specific one to turn on, and you're good to go. And I'll show you another example. Here I just used hot hands, which is actually that flag right there, but I want to show you this right here. I had to use a bigger one for this. Is the fast run, of where you put in the passcode catch me and he runs faster. I had to do it differently. I had to go all the way to that same string that we did earlier, but I had to put things in front of the flag. Here's the flag that it needs to turn on right here. Catch me that I labeled is actually that byte right there, which is an unknown variable. That's why we put the question marks there. So if the way I had to do it down here is I had to put the flag, which is catch me plus 4. So this is catch me, that byte right there, and I want it to manipulate 1, 2, 3. This flag right here. So I had to put catch me plus 4. I had my label run, and I wanted to label that particular byte as run. So the computer is seeing that as run every time because I registered the symbol, I made a label, and it sees that byte as run. And I just want to change that byte to be an on, which is 5. Okay? And then to turn it back off, it's seeing run. What did we label run as? That 1 right there. And it's turning back to the number 1, which turns the flag off in the game. That's the difference, and I hope that helps out a little bit. I'm sorry if things got confusing. I know I went a little quick. I know this is a long lesson. It is advanced. It's hard to teach anything, almost anything, even simplistic things, without taking the time to do it. But I want to try to explain things as best as I can so you understand. It's a learning channel, and there's just no real easy way to do it. You're going to have to get in there and get some hands-on. You can sit here and listen to this stuff all day, but to really learn this stuff, you really just need to get in there and play around with it. Go in there and find you one of these codes. Go around and play with some of these other flags. I know these are all cheats. These are all the different cheats you can turn on and off. Go see what it affects, and then you found that particular cheat, you can just go do you another, you can just go write you another little quick array of byte script, and boom, you got another cheat, another one, and you can just do that for all of them if you want to. So I'm going to go ahead and head on out of here. I'm going to go ahead and save this. I am going to upload this to Mediafire at a later date, not tonight, but if you want these cheats that I have already, infinite health, infinite ammo, never wanted, infinite stamina, infinite breath underwater, and as you see, it's still a work in progress. I'm still just hacking away at it, so I'll be adding to it as I come out with them. And so if you'd like to wait till it's completely finished, you're welcome to. If you want to get it now and just look it up yourself, you're welcome to. I encourage you to get in there and learn this stuff and do it yourself. That way you don't have to depend on people to do it for you, or you're just stuck using the cheats they like using. So, you know, that's the way I go about it. I like to learn this stuff myself. Alright, you guys have a great one. You take care of yourself. Most importantly, please have fun. That's what everything's really all about. That's what all this is all about, is getting the very most out of your games. Alright? You guys take care. Cheat the game now. Let's go turn that fast run on. It'll take it a lot longer because it's a longer array here. I'm going to turn on explosive fist, and I'm just going to go wreak havoc. Alright, now let's go. Look at that. Fast run. Look at that. Didn't have to put in a code or nothing.